story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yes, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Oh, sweet are tropic lands for waking dreams. There, time and life move lazily along. There by the banks of blue and silver streams, grass-sheltered crickets chirp incessant song. Gay-colored lizards loll all through the day, their tongues outstretched for careless little flies, and swarthy children in the fields at play look upward, laughing at the smiling skies. A breath of idleness is in the air that casts a subtle spell upon all things, and love and mating time are everywhere, and wonder to life's commonplaces clings. The fluttering hummingbird darts through the trees and dips his long beak in the big bellflowers. The leisured buzzard floats upon the breeze, riding a crescent cloud of endless hours. Oh, sweet for quiet dreams are tropic lands.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go? Jamaica, Acapulco, Keys. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all. Bodies in the sand, tropical drinks melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Kokomo, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go to the Kokomo? Get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go. Tonique, that Montserrat mistake. We're out to sea. We'll perfect our chemistry. By and by we'll defy a little bit of gravity. Afternoon delight, cocktails in the dream you look in your eye, give me a tropical contact high. Way down in Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down the Congo? Get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go. Prince, I wanna catch a glimpse. 'Everybody knows a little place like Cocoa. Now if you wanna go and get away from the home, go down the Cocoa. Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down the Cocoa? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go. Jamaica, Montserrat,
2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 27th day of the 9th month of 2021, the International Year of Peace and Trust, of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, the International Year, the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and the International Year of Health and Care Workers. Put another way, it's the 27th day of the 4th month of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, and the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is issuing advisories on Hurricane Sam, located several hundred miles east of the Lesser Antilles. Meanwhile, the area of low pressure associated with the remnants of Peter has become better defined today, and the shower and thunderstorm activity has become a little better organized. Any further increase in organization could result in the formation of a short-lived tropical depression while it moves northeastward at about 10 miles per hour. By Wednesday, environmental conditions are expected to become unfavorable for further development. In the meantime, a broad area of low pressure located several hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands, Cape Verde Islands, is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions are conducive for further development of this disturbance, and a tropical depression is likely to form in a few days while it moves westward to west-northwestward at 5 to 10 miles per hour over the central tropical Atlantic. And a tropical wave located just offshore the west coast of Africa is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Upper level winds are conducive for gradual development, and a tropical depression is likely to form in a few days while the system moves westward to west-northwestward at 10 to 15 miles per hour over the far eastern tropical Atlantic. Closer to home, a tropical wave is east of Jamaica and will move across the island later today. Thereafter, a trough will linger across the island for the next several days. Partly cloudy conditions this afternoon with isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly across south central and western parishes. Tonight, mainly fair. It's International Right to Know Day. French community holiday in Belgium, Saint Vincent de Paul Day in Madagascar. And here in Jamaica, this week is National Senior Citizens Week and Tourism Awareness Week. In fact, today is World Tourism Day, hence our choice of poetry and song this afternoon. Hoy es lunes, el 27 de septiembre 2021. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos.
There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all. Bodies in the sand, tropical dreams melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Kokomo, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? You can take it fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15. The National Irrigation Commission Limited encourages efficient irrigation practices and responsible use of water. By doing so, we will allow the aquifer to be recharged and keep the supply flowing. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture. Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your Legal Corner with Dahlia Walker Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Here Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday right here on Power 106 FM.
The following is a public service announcement from Power 106 FM. Jamaica. Each wave of the COVID-19 pandemic with the added danger of variants has brought unprecedented pressure on public resources. Our hospitals and healthcare workers at breaking point. Our economy battered, families in mourning, and our children face an uncertain future due to learning loss. In this race against COVID-19, we must stay in it to win it. We must continue using techniques that can help to beat the virus. Follow COVID-19 mitigation measures, including wearing masks, sanitizing, 6 feet of physical distance from others. And on this leg of our relay, we can win with vaccination. These safe and proven vaccines can make the difference against COVID-19. And now that vaccines are in supply, let's get vaccinated so we can get back on track and keep winning. The finish line against COVID-19 is in sight. And with true Jamaican determination, we can all have the victory. Brought to you by your friends at Power 106 FM.
So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to
be ready for stocks in trading. Just said, don't you worry.
It's young, it's fresh, it's worldviews from a youth perspective. It's Gen Z, navigating the ups and downs of everyday life. Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Power 106 FM.
Come on, that's where you wanna go to get away from it all. Bodies in the sand, tropical trees melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down to Coca. Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda. Mama, come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, Montego, Montego. You can take it fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go. Tonique, that Montserrat steak. Out to sea.
C'est lundi le 27 septembre 2021 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
I wanna catch a glimpse.
All we're saying is it's Monday, the 27th of September, 2021, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never, ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. We started out this afternoon with North and the South by Claude McKay, Jamaica's poet laureate in perpetuity. Claude McKay, oh sweet are tropic lands for waking dreams. There time and life move lazily along. There by the banks of blue and silver streams, grass-sheltered crickets chirp incessant song. Gay-colored lizards loll all through the day, their tongues outstretched for careless little flies, and swarthy children in the fields at play look upward laughing at the smiling skies. A breath of idleness is in the air that casts a subtle spell upon all things, and love and mating time are everywhere, and wonder to life's commonplaces clings. The fluttering hummingbird darts through the trees and dips his long beak in the big bellflowers. The leisured buzzard floats upon the breeze, riding a crescent cloud for endless hours. The sea beats softly on the emerald strands. Oh, sweet for quiet dreams are tropic lands.
We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. down in Coconut. Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, Montego, down the Coconut.
Yeah, there's something about this song. Don't you feel like you want to just take up your things and head to the nearest beach somewhere? Well, you can't, eh? But yeah, it's that kind of mood on this World Tourism Day. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9 from Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you can download from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank you if you've logged on to the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Subscribers to onespotmedia.com also have access to both sides of the story in particular and Power 106 FM in general. Hello, if you're listening to us on one of two designated numbers from the United States and the United Kingdom. If you're in the United States and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 631-359-8281, 631-359-8281. And those in the United Kingdom who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're all over social media: Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, LinkedIn, BBM, Yahoo Messenger, Tango, WhatsApp, Snapchat, TikTok, all over social media. And we thank you very much for tuning in. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you don't have a Facebook account, no sweat. There's always YouTube, the Dervan Malcolm YouTube channel. All you need is a smart device or a not so smart device, like a cell phone, a tablet computer, a laptop, a desktop, otherwise known as a PC, as in personal computer. And the next step would be to ensure that you have internet service. If you do, well, all you need now is a browser. So open a browser, Google Chrome, Safari, Bing, any one of those. And as you're doing this, if you're doing this now, you should see this video trending. If you're not seeing it trending, then in the YouTube search box, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to watch both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. What's on your mind this afternoon? Always happy to hear from you. 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, but your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes. You can call us via WhatsApp as well. And we can go a step further. If you wish to speak with us directly on this side of the glass, then there's the same number that you would use for the text line and the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Good afternoon to Hermin Hyatt. She says, good afternoon, Dervan and the diaspora and my beautiful people of Jamaica. Good afternoon, Hermin Hyatt. Miss K in St. Catherine says, happy Monday, Sir Dervan and listeners around the globe. Happy Monday to you too, Miss K in St. Catherine. Donovan Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Continue doing the good work. Thank you, Donovan. Tiffany, not Tiffany, Tiffany, Tiffony. Tiffany Bray says, can you repeat the number? Which one of them, Tiffany? Please tell us. Happy Monday, she says. And Hermin Hyatt giving us the thumbs up. Thank you, Miss Hermin. Also messaging us this afternoon, Violet White says, good afternoon, Dervan. Happy Monday afternoon. Have a blessed day. You too, Violet White. Jacqueline Simmons, good afternoon and blessings to you too. Darrell Blake says, puzzle. Jamaican don't know A from Bullfoot. Slaves nyam them name pan $1,452 bulla papa plus L, and that to hide things from black people. Put it in a book. Empty barrel make. When students ready, teachers appear. 1 John 3:12 to 18. Well, there's a Buddhist saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. The race needs workers at this time, writes Darrell, not plagiarists, sophists, and mere imitators, but men and women who are able to create, to originate, and improve, and thus make an independent racial contribution to the world and civilization. Marcus Garvey. You must not mistake lip service and noise for bravery and service. Evidence African American of Jamaican descent playing their role on the world stage in honor and the hope of furthering Marcus Garvey's mission of prophecy, of seeing the unification of all African people, becoming their brothers and sisters keepers at home and abroad. The Lord said, whom shall I send? Isaiah 6:8-10. That is the righteous PM Andrew Holness calling to continue mercy mission witnessed by all concerned on the global stage before the throne of our fathers or ancestors. Spirit in Matthew 6:8-10, Romans 13:11-14. Matter equals mind awaken. Final call. The longest liver laughing last is the greatest teller. That's as much as we can manage now, though, Dorrell. It's a lengthy one. It's really long. And if there are listeners who want to view that message, it's on Facebook Live, the Facebook Live stream. And that's from Darrell Blake. She says, bless up everything good, Dervan Malcolm. Continue on the path of righteousness. Be well, stay strong. Blessings always. To you too, Darrell Blake. Golden Brown says, good afternoon, Sir D. To you too, Golden Brown. Audrey Smith in Southampton, England, says, good afternoon, Dervan and listeners everywhere. It's been a real chaotic time here in Southampton and elsewhere in Britain. Oh, my. And we'll have to find out what that's all about after today's edition of Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Did you know that the National Irrigation Commission Limited is the sole authority for irrigation systems in Jamaica? The National Irrigation Commission Limited enables the improvement in agricultural productivity through the provision of efficient and affordable irrigation to farmers and other customers. Contact them 977-6624 or 977-6727 or visit their website www.nicjamaica.com to learn more. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Our family and friends are a big part of who we are. And when it comes to keeping you connected to them, Grace Kennedy Money Services Western Union makes it safer and easier. Now friends and family overseas can use the Western Union app or westernunion.com to send money directly to your bank account without leaving home. Receive a Western Union money transfer directly into your bank account with a direct-to-bank service. Register online at gkmsonline.com and share your banking details with your sender so you don't have to leave home to collect. It's the show that engages you with stimulating and intriguing discussions to spice up your night. It's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas, Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, you may ask me a question. I may or may not answer.
Hear pertinent advice and share your thoughts on topical issues, relationship matters. Get the answers you need for your burning questions. It all comes together on Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas.
You know, look like she did love me to me. But me still, there's she pushed me out, so do my best, young lady.
That's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas, keeping your company Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. till midnight, right here on Power 106 FM.
It's young, it's fresh, it's worldviews from a youth perspective. It's Gen Z, navigating the ups and downs of everyday life. Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Power 106 FM.
It's a Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, and that means time for Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, and 876-922-4114. The text line for Land Solutions is 876-881-5254, 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. In keeping with the existing COVID-19 protocols, clients and potential clients of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company are being encouraged to call ahead, and you'll be advised accordingly. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findley and Company: 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. In a moment, let's say good afternoon and welcome to Attorney at Law, Calicia Findley.
Good afternoon, Dervan. Thank you so much, and good afternoon, listeners. Thanks, as always, for tuning in to another edition of Land Solutions. As Dervan just said, I'll be your host for today, Calicia Findley, and again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-4112-4, and our text and WhatsApp line, 876-881-5254. Again, that's 876-881-5254. 5254. And I'll dive right into our text messages. How is it possible for a squatter to pay someone's property taxes? I think the people at the tax office should ask for IDs. That's not fair. So how is it possible for a squatter to pay someone's property taxes? And I suppose the rationale behind this question is the fact that, as many of us would know, squatters are able to apply for a title once they can show that they have been on the property for a certain amount of years. And once you can prove that you have been on the property for a certain amount of years, you can go ahead and apply for the title. And as part of the application process, you have to show that property taxes are up to date. It is possible for a squatter to apply, it is possible for a squatter to pay property taxes because that's just the way it is. Anyone can pay anyone's property taxes. I could go and start paying Dervan's property taxes right now if I were so inclined. Or
Please do, please do.
I will. Just send me the notice of assessment. So when you go to pay property taxes, and listen, this is the government we're talking about. They need the revenue. They want the money. They're not going to say, all right, John Brown, show me how you're connected with the land before I accept this money from you for property taxes. They don't care. They're receiving money. They're not paying out, so they'll take it from anyone. And that's exactly how a squatter can go and pay property taxes. Anyone, like I said, anyone can pay anybody's property taxes. Is it fair? Perhaps it is, perhaps it isn't. It all depends on what side of the fence you fall on. If you are in the process of losing your property to a squatter, then of course you may think it's not fair. If, however, you are someone who has been living on property undisturbed for 20 years and you're paying the property taxes in addition to taking care of the property, then perhaps it is fair to you to pay the property taxes. So there is no law against who can pay property taxes. It can be done by anyone, but this is just all the more reason why property owners have to be vigilant. Say it all the time. You can't just be satisfied with having your title and having title in your name. You have to be proactive, take steps to inspect your property, to visit your property from time to time. If you are unable to visit the property, have someone look in on it for you, make sure it's fenced, make sure you have up your no trespassing sign, do all that you can do. Because we all know people are literally just waiting to just go on property. As soon as they see a vacant part of land, as soon as a house is empty, you have someone just taking up possession. So be very careful. Continue with our messages. Is a will valid if it has two witnesses but no executors? The will I have before me just says who is to get what, and then it is signed by everyone. So is a will valid if it has if it has two witnesses but no executors? Yes, the will is still valid. And let me just remind listeners, the executor is the person appointed by the testator to carry out their wishes and to handle their affairs. If a will does not name an executor or executors, it is still valid. What will happen is that the beneficiary will step into the shoes of the quote-unquote executor, and that beneficiary can then apply for probate. When a beneficiary is doing it, it's called letters of administration with will in it, but it is the same process. So for those of you who have made your will yourself, double check, see if you have named an executor, and then let's say, for instance, you double check and you see that you haven't named an executor. Doesn't mean your will is not valid, but perhaps consider naming one if that is what you want to do. Again, remember that the executor is the person who carries out your wishes. So this needs to be someone who you trust. I know, and there is no law that says an attorney must prepare your will. It can be done. You can do it by yourself, any piece of paper, by a will form. But if at all possible, please seek legal advice before you make your will. You don't want to make a will on your own, and then, God forbid, on your death, your family members realize that the will isn't valid. So some people doing it on their own, they may make a mistake. They could have a witness being a beneficiary. And as you know, if a witness is a beneficiary, then the gift to that person can fail. Another common error I see many people making when they do their wills on their own, they'll make a will, it's perfectly valid, and then they get married after they have made the will. And they don't know that marriage cancels a will. So they're married, they think their will that they made before they got married is valid, only for their relatives to discover upon their death that because that will was done before they were married, it's no longer valid. Another common error I see too when people make wills on their own is that, so let's say you have two persons and you want to give them, for argument's sake, you want to give them your house. Your intention is that both of them should share the house. But what you really want is for both of them to be joint tenants, meaning you will it to John and Mary, but if Mary dies before John, then John gets everything, or vice versa. But you, and the thing is, as a layperson, you would not be expected to know this. But in doing your will on your own, you will say, I give my house to John and Mary equally. And just by using that one little word equally means that they will not take it as joint tenants. They will take it as tenants in common. So if Mary dies before John, John will not get her share. Mary's share will go to whoever she made in her will or her relatives. So just little things like that, witnesses as beneficiaries, the exact wording used when you do your will on your own, be careful. Again, not mandatory for you to get legal advice. It's not mandatory for you to have an attorney prepare your will, but consider it. Or even consider getting legal advice from the legal aid clinic before doing your will, because all of us, we have every good intention. And you don't want to have the best of intentions. And then on your death, your intentions are not able to be fulfilled. Someone wants to know, what is a surveyor's identification report and how long does it take to prepare that document after it's paid for in full? A surveyor's identification report is a document prepared by a surveyor outlining the boundaries of the property. It confirms whether the boundaries, as stated in the title, are exactly what's on ground. So it will show you whether there are any breaches of covenants. Covenants are conditions listed on the title, and it will show you whether there are any encroachments. Encroachments, for example, if a neighbor's fence comes over onto yours or vice versa. How long does it take for this document to be read? It all depends on the pace at which your surveyor works or the amount of work they have. But I would say on average, maybe a week to 2 weeks, give or take a couple days, and depending on how complex the ID report is. But really, like I said, about a week or 2 weeks. Again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-41124, or text and WhatsApp line, 876-881-5254. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Let's face it, these haven't been the best of times, but they aren't the worst of times either. At COK, we recognize that some of our members are finding it challenging navigating the new normal. But that's why we have initiated the COK Debt Amnesty. If you're having difficulties repaying your loans, come in, talk with us, get a waiver of up to 100% of the penalties due. Call 764-1509 or email amnesty@cokcu.com. Conditions apply.
Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Croskett from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Croskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
You're listening to Land Solutions on both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, willing property, surveying property, property tax matters, anything at all to do with land. You've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, and 876-922-4114. The Land Solutions text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-881-5254, 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. The Facebook page is facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. In light of the existing COVID-19 protocols, clients and potential clients of the law firm Brown, Findley and Company are being advised to call first. Call first. Call ahead. The numbers to call the law firm Brown, Findley and Company, 876-908-1950. That's 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. 876-908-3518. Once again, here's attorney at law, Calicia Findley.
Thank you, Dervan. A message from our Facebook page. I paid a deposit and signed a sale agreement, but when I took it to the NHC, they said I can't get a loan because the land is agricultural land. What does this mean? The NHT, National Housing Trust, gives loans to contributors for residential purposes. So whether it is land that a house can be built on or an existing house. I think in your case, what has happened is that there is a covenant on the title that says this particular property, this particular parcel of land is zoned for agricultural purposes. So where this is the case, the NHT will not grant you a loan.
We have a call for you, Ms. Finley. I beg your pardon.
Thank you, Dervan. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. I bought a piece of land for 25 years now, and I can't find the receipt for it. And the man that sell me dead. I don't know what to do.
All right. For all this time that you have been there, has anyone ever tried to take you off the property to evict you? Are you here? I'm asking it. For all this time that you have been on the property, has anyone ever tried to take you off?
No.
All right. Have you ever got it surveyed?
Yes.
How long ago did you get it surveyed?
The same week that I bought it, I get it.
That was 25 years ago.
Yes.
All right. Get it surveyed again, because we will need a current diagram to apply for the title for you. So your first step is to get it surveyed. We have lost that caller. So she has two options. She can get the land surveyed again, or she can get a declaration from a surveyor confirming that her diagram done 25 years ago is still current, meaning the boundaries are still the same. Once she has either the new diagram, the old diagram, plus the surveyor's declaration, and she can show that property taxes have been paid up to date, she has two people who can confirm that she has been on the land for this time, and those two persons can speak to the 40-year history of the property, then she should be in a good position to be able to apply for the title. Back to that previous message, I think it was from our Facebook page, where someone said that they signed a sale agreement, paid a deposit, took it to the NHT to get a loan, but the NHT isn't giving them the loan because the land is for agricultural purposes. So as I was saying, it seems that there's a covenant on the title saying that the property is zoned for agricultural purposes. The National Housing Trust gives loans on residential lots or houses. So in a case like this, you will not get the loan from NHD. The covenant will have to be modified. I am not certain if the seller's attorney would be willing to or able to modify this covenant, but in any event, this type of covenant would have to be modified before the NHD will consider your application. So in a case like this, it is, I'm not sure if you had an attorney. It seems not, because an attorney would have reviewed the conditions on the title. So please, before you buy any property or before you even pay a deposit, ensure you seek legal advice, because your attorney would have known that you're going to the housing trust and that the housing trust would not give you a loan to purchase agricultural property. Continuing with our messages. What legal advice would you give a first-time buyer in relation to buying land? Just said it. The very first thing would be to seek legal advice. That's the very first thing. If you're getting a mortgage, ensure you have your pre-approval letter from your mortgage company or your eligibility letter or your pre-qualification letter. All of them mean the same thing. You have to get a surveyor's identification. And I'm just giving you an overview of the process. It is much more involved, which is why you have to go and sit with an attorney to get legal advice. You have to get a surveyor's identification report. If you had tuned in at the top of the program, the surveyor's ID report is that document that confirms whether there are any restrictive covenants have been breached or whether there are any encroachments. If you're getting a mortgage, you have to get a valuation report. You have to also be aware of the legal fees and the government fees associated with the purchase. If you're purchasing, you have half stamp duty. That's nominal, $2,500. The cost of the sale agreement, about $50,000. Cost of the letters of possession, about $12,000, depending on the price of the property. You have registration fee that's paid to the titles office, that's shared with the vendor, that's 0.25%. And you have your legal fees, which can range from 3 to 5%, but it all depends on what terms you agree with your attorney and the price of the property.
We have a caller for you, Calicia.
Thanks, Dervan. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, how may I help?
All right, I heard you giving some advice about the will, that if you made a will before you were married, and you got married after, the will is not valid.
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you.
All right.
Go right ahead.
So what happens if you made a will, like in the process of a divorce? Say your divorce was in process, say January, say December, and you made a will, say February, and then the divorce came through in May.
Yes, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Is that will valid?
Yes, it still is. The divorce doesn't impact the will.
Okay.
It's only the marriage that impacts the will. But I would still say after the divorce has been completed, just review your will.
Yes.
Again, just to make sure, just to double check to see whether you still want to make further changes. But no, a divorce does not cancel a will. Only a marriage cancels a will.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
All
Take care. Again, our number live on air, 876-922-41124, or text and WhatsApp line, 876-881-5254. I'm hearing a little static. I'm not sure if you all are hearing me clearly. If you're not able to hear me clearly, please let me know. And the number to call us in our Ocean Reyes office at Shop 6 upstairs, JN Building, 876-974-6083. Over to our WhatsApp line. I'm building a house with my husband, but his name is on the title and mine needs to be added. How do we do this? Okay, you would go to an attorney to have this done. You say you're building a house. Are you by any chance living there already? Perhaps you are living there, but the structure isn't complete. Because I ask this because once you can show it is your matrimonial home, meaning the house you live in with your spouse, then you get a waiver of the transfer tax. And that's ordinarily transfer tax is 2% of the value of the property. But once it involves a matrimonial home, whether you are adding a name or removing a spouse's name, Tax Administration Jamaica waives the transfer tax. So I think the only duty you end up paying is $100 for stamp duty. So to add a name to your matrimonial property, we would do what's called a transfer of interest. In your case, your husband would be transferring his interest to himself and to you. That is how your name is added to the title. Ordinarily, well, first, the documents are prepared, submitted to the stamp office for their stamping and for their assessment and stamping. Then they're submitted to the titles office. Pre-COVID, the process at the stamp office would take about 2 to 3 weeks. Now it will take several weeks just to get the stamp documents from the stamp office. And also in submitting the documents to the stamp office, you'll need a copy of your marriage certificate. And sometimes the stamp office asks for a statutory declaration. That is just a document that you and your husband swear to, confirming that this is your matrimonial home, that you are both husband and wife, and that you live there. After that is done, it's then submitted to the titles office. That's the last part of the process, to have your name added to the title. And at the titles office, it's a relatively short period. It may take now about 2 weeks to have that finalized. Again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-411224. Our email address, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. And the number for our office in Ocho Rios, remember, we are there every Thursday. It's 876-974-6083. And as always, feel free to call us in office at the law offices of Brown, Findlay and Company, 876-908-1950 and 876-908-3518. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock. The National Irrigation Commission Limited encourages efficient irrigation practices and responsible use of water. By doing so, we will allow the aquifer to be recharged and keep the supply flowing. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
It's riveting, thought-provoking, and interesting. It's the morning agenda on Power 106 FM. Weekdays, 7:15 to 9 a.m. Join Jody and Quarry on Mondays and Tuesdays and Sanjay Lewis on Wednesdays and Thursdays, while they alternate on Fridays as they set your agenda and break down the issues and keep you informed on what matters to you most. It's the morning agenda on Power 106 FM. Weekdays, 7:15 to 9 a.m. only on Power 106 FM.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call. 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, and 876-922-4114. The text line for Land Solutions is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-881-5254, 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com. Landsolutionsja.com. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja. facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ochorio, St. Anne. In keeping with the COVID-19 protocols, clients and potential clients of the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company are encouraged to call 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518, and you'll be advised accordingly. Call ahead of turning up. Once again, here is attorney at law, Calicia Findlay.
Thank you, Dervan. Someone wants to know what it means to note a death. A notation of death is done when a joint tenant dies. So in short, it really is the process of removing the deceased person's name from the title, and it is also the formal notification to the tax administration, Jamaica, and the titles office of this person's death. So that's what a notation of death means. If you are on title with someone as joint tenants, and that person, the other person on title with you, that person has died, you need to do an application to note death. I think some people believe that once they submit the original death certificate, then that is sufficient. No, it's a much more involved process. Firstly, we have to make an application to tax administration Jamaica for their assessment of the estate duties. Estate duties are also known as death duties. If the value of the estate, meaning that person's share of the estate, if it is less than $10 million, then it is a $0 assessment. If it's more than $10 million, then it is 1.5% of whatever value is more than $10 million. So that is what it means to note death. You'll have to, and let me just say, when we're doing this application, we need the original death certificate. The titles office keeps the original death certificate. You're not going to get it back. Don't curse us and say we're doing this and that with your death certificate. As the attorneys, we don't need your original death certificate for our personal purposes. We do not. But by law, we have to submit the original to the titles office and they keep it. So if you only have one death certificate, photocopy it, and in the interim, apply for another copy from the RGD. In fact, what we tell clients, when someone dies, apply for several copies. Don't just apply for one, because you'll be surprised how many times various institutions, various bodies are going to want the original death certificate. Apply for 5 if you are able to. If you can't, just ensure you have photocopies, because many places will eventually need the original death certificate. I heard what you just said about a joint tenant dying. Is it true that I have to be joint tenants on a title if I'm buying property with my husband? Absolutely not. You do not have to be joint tenants with your spouse. I recall hearing persons saying that they got this advice from government agencies and from other attorneys too, saying that once you're purchasing with your spouse, you must be joint tenants. Absolutely not. You can be tenants in common. Remember, with joint tenants, both of you own everything together. If one dies, the property solely belongs to the other one after the death is noted. If you own as tenants in common, you own separate shares, and each of you can will your separate share to whoever you want. You can even will it back to your spouse, but you don't have to. You can will it to anyone else. So if it's your spouse, whether it is your what we also call common law spouse or your husband or wife, you don't have to be joint tenants. You can be if you want, but there is no obligation for you to be joint tenant. Many people often come in and ask, okay, I'm buying property with my spouse. Is it better to be joint tenants or tenants in common? That is for you to decide. We tell you the characteristics of both types of ownership, and then you decide. The easiest way to help you to make a decision is to ask yourself, what do I want to happen with my share of the property if I die before this other person? If you want your shares automatically go to the other person, perhaps joint tenancy is the better option for you. If you want to be able to will your share to someone else, let's say you have children, not with this spouse, let's say you have family members or friends, then tenants in common may be the better option for you. And let me just say too, we have to, I know when, especially for persons who may be thinking about getting married and buying property with a spouse, everything is nice and rosy in the beginning and you're in love. And that's lovely. But we also need to think about what could happen in the future. We have to be realistic. Things may not always be nice and rosy. And I'm not saying you should go into a marriage thinking that it should end or that things will be bad. But we have to be realistic. So think about all those things. If you decide to own as tenants in common, it doesn't mean that your ownership is any less or any different. Both of you will still own the property together. And as always, once you make a decision, it can be changed. So if today you decide you want to be joint tenants, you can thereafter change it to tenants in common. Continuing with our messages. My next door neighbor is planning to bury her father in her yard, but this is a residential community and not one in the country. Is this right? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Even nowadays, I mean, you know, in the past, burials in rural areas were the norm. But now, even in rural areas, you must get parish council approval of the burial. So you say this is a residential area, so just by virtue of that, I'm almost certain it is not permissible, but go to the parish council with your concerns, have them confirm whether they would have any objections, and if so, have them place a stop order as soon as possible. Not certain if you've already had a discussion with your neighbor, but you can perhaps ask your neighbor, hey, you know, I've heard that before you can bury someone on your property, you must get parish council approval. Have you done that already? Perhaps you can approach it that way, but like I said, feel free to go to the parish council. Can a wife still be entitled to 50% of the matrimonial home if she did not change her last name to her husband? That's an interesting one. Yes, of course. The fact that a wife has not changed her surname to her husband's name doesn't make the marriage any less valid. It doesn't mean that she's not the husband's wife. It doesn't mean that it is not the matrimonial home. As a wife, you don't have to change your surname to your husband. If you want to, no problem. But you absolutely don't have to if you don't want to. And the fact that your name has not been changed does not mean that you cannot. That does not mean that the house cannot qualify as the matrimonial home. For a house, in fact, the Property Rights of Spouses Act says that a house can be a matrimonial home where persons aren't married, but where there are common law spouses who have lived in that house, who have lived together, use that as their matrimonial home, and have been together for 5 years. So if you are what we call common law spouses, and your house can still qualify as the matrimonial home, then clearly the fact that you are married and husband and wife, but the wife's name hasn't been changed, and clearly also that property can qualify as the matrimonial home. So whether your name is in it, whether you still use your maiden name or not, it doesn't matter. If you change your name to match your husband's surname, it is also a good idea to also change it on the title, and that's what we call an application to note marriage. I say that because, and there is no rule, you don't have to change it on the title, but it makes life easier and it's more convenient. Because once you change your name, more often than not, you will update your TRN to have your married name, your NIS, and whatever other pertinent documents. When you're doing any transaction with your title, it first has to go through the stamp office. And the stamp office is going to generate, whatever documents generated by the stamp office will reflect what's on your TRN. So if your TRN now has your married name, but your title is still in your maiden name, it's going to create problems at the titles office. Because the titles office will say, but is this one and the same person? Is it Mary Brown or is it Mary Smith, formerly known as Brown? And let's say your TRN says Mary Smith and your title says Mary Brown. If we submit any documentation to the titles office showing the married name, they're going to reject it and they're going to want the names to be reconciled. So that's where they will ask for an application to note marriage. So before you decide to do anything with the property, any transaction, if you have changed your name on your TRN, I'm speaking about married women, then consider also doing an application to note marriage on your title. If you're married, I'm trying to think if there are any other documents that you would need to change your name on. But I think your passport, your TRN, your NIS. Again, it's a personal decision. You don't have to do it, but if you do, also change it on your title. Again, our numbers to call in live on air, 876-922-41124. The numbers to call the law offices of Brown, Finley and Company, 876-908-1950 and 876-908-3518. This is Land Solutions.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays and Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crosskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
It's the final segment of Land Solutions for today. Get in those calls now. All the questions you've been waiting to ask in relation to the sale or purchase of land. Now would be a good time as the program draws to a close for this afternoon. Here are the numbers for you to call: 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, and 876-922-4114. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, 876-881-5254, 876-881-5254. The website is landsolutionsja.com, landsolutionsja.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/landsolutionsja, facebook.com/landsolutionsja. The email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. The law firm Brown, Findley and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. And in light of the COVID-19 protocols, they're encouraging their clients and potential clients to call ahead. Call and you will be advised accordingly. 876-908-1950 or 876-908-3518. Once again, here's attorney at law, Calicia Findley.
Thank you, Dervan. A message from one of our loyal listeners. If a spouse buys property with their own funds, will the other spouse have legal rights to that property? It is possible if it is the matrimonial home. The basis of the Property Rights of Spouses Act is that there's a presumption that each spouse is entitled to a 50% share of the property just by virtue of it being their matrimonial home. It doesn't matter if the house was solely, there are exceptions, but let me just say, it doesn't matter if the house was purchased solely by one of the spouses. So let's say the parties got married, we're in what now, September. The parties got married in August 2021. 2 weeks later, they bought a house together, but only one of them paid for the house. They now live in that house. Let's say they continue to live in that house for several years down the road. Then the marriage breaks down. It qualifies as the matrimonial home. So it doesn't matter if it was paid for by one spouse. The exception, however, can be, let's say one spouse bought the property 30 years ago. They lived in it by themselves. Now they have taken on a spouse. The spouse has moved in with them. They live there, let's say, for a year or two. It's a relatively short marriage. Then the marriage breaks down. In a case like that, where one spouse can show, listen, I've had this property for 20, 25, 30 years. We only use this as our matrimonial home for a couple of years. Then the courts will rule that it is not the matrimonial home. If it is a completely separate property, it's not the matrimonial home, then there is no presumption that the spouse is entitled to 50% of the property. So you have your matrimonial home, both of you live there together, but let's say you have let's say husband has another property, an investment property, and he rents it out to tenants. The law says that the spouse is not automatically entitled to that property. But I have seen cases where the court will make an order that the spouse should be entitled to some proceeds from that property, even though it's not the matrimonial home. And that usually happens in extreme cases. Let's say, for instance, that one of the spouse who, let's say the matrimonial home has been sold fraudulently, or one spouse is hiding assets from another spouse. In extreme cases like that, then the court can make an order that spouse can be entitled to some of the proceeds of property that is not the matrimonial home. But again, the presumption is with matrimonial home, each person is entitled to a 50% share. But that is not the case with other property. My father owned a house. He did not make a will. He fathered 3 of us. My 2 sisters have seized the title. How do I proceed? you would need to get an attorney to write those sisters to see how best it can be resolved. But let me just say, I find that a lot of persons believe that once you can get your hands on a title and take it away and hide it, it means that you are now the owner of the property. No. At the end of the day, the title is a piece of paper. So it doesn't mean that by virtue of you holding on to the title and hiding it, it doesn't mean that you can deny someone else's right in the property. In fact, you might just get yourself in trouble with the law if it is found out that you really are being dishonest and fraudulent. So in this person's case, they need to go to an attorney. Father didn't make a will. They would need to apply for letters of administration in the father's estate. If the father was married and his wife is still alive, or his common law wife, that person can apply for administration. If there is no spouse, then one of the children can apply to administer his estate. And it could even be this child here, the one who the others are hiding the title from. So first things first, go to an attorney for legal advice with respect to getting the title from the others, and more importantly, applying for administration of your father's estate. I'm living in a private housing scheme with our own sewage system. Now we are having a problem where the Water Commission wants to connect a sewage system from a newly built housing development nearby. This was not in the approval plan for that developer to connect to our scheme. Now they have started preparation work without consulting the residents of the scheme. They had a meeting with us yesterday after the fact. Can we stop them from connecting to our sewage system? I don't think you can. I think they may have that inherent right. But give me a call in office. I'll look into it some more. But I really don't think you can stop the Water Commission from doing this. What is the purpose of transfer tax? And does it still need to be paid if you are giving the person the land instead of selling it to them? All right. So transfer tax is a duty charged by the government when you are conveying land. Simply put, meaning when land is changing ownership, whether you are giving it away or whether you are selling it. So they charge a tax on that, and it's called transfer tax. Transfer tax is 2% of the value of the property. There is no difference in the transfer tax whether you are selling the property or you are giving it as a gift to someone. I think some people still believe that once it's being done by gift instead of sale, a transfer by gift as opposed to a sale, that there is no transfer tax. No. Government isn't going to give up on its revenue so easily. Just like with property taxes, where anyone can pay property taxes for any property. So no, there is no difference in the transfer tax, whether it's being sold or being given. There's a slight difference in the stamp duty. It's not much though, because stamp duty is now nominal. Where the property is being sold, stamp duty is $5,000, and that is usually shared between the parties, so it's $2,500 each. Where the property is being given, the stamp duty is nominal, it's just $100. And similarly, at the titles office, when you're doing a transfer by gift, the registration fee at the titles office is $5,000. But when it's a transfer by sale, the registration fee is 0.5% of the value of the property, 0.5% of the sale price, and that registration fee is also shared between the parties. So seller pays 0.25%, purchaser pays 0.25%. Interesting. This one is an interesting message. If a marriage is not consummated, can it be declared null and void And if not, what is the quickest way to get a divorce? Let me start with the second part of the question first. To my certain knowledge, there is no quick way to get a divorce in Jamaica. A legal divorce, I should say. But, so the first part, if a marriage is not consummated, can it be declared null and void? No, it cannot. Once you say your I do's in Jamaica, it is a legally binding marriage. Even if, and I've actually had this happen already, person said I do, the husband drove the wife to the airport. They had every intention of living together at some point, but it just didn't happen. Never saw each other for like 5 years or so. Marriage just completely broke down, but they still had to get a divorce. So consummation doesn't play a role in having a marriage declared null and void. In Jamaica, you can only get a marriage to be declared void if you can show that you were somehow duped into getting married. So if you can show that there was fraud, or that you were out of your mind, you didn't have any idea what was going on, or literally someone held a gun to your head, or they threatened you, and even then you'd have to provide clear evidence of that to the court. And with the pace at which our courts operate, the time it will take you to prove that fraud may not be worth it, because you would probably just stand a better chance waiting on the divorce to be finalized. Generally speaking, divorces in Jamaica take about a year. I've had clients, let's say one person is a Jamaican, the other one is a resident overseas. I've told clients already, listen, if you want to be divorced quickly, it may not be possible. It's going to take about a year. If you can get your divorce in another jurisdiction, so let's say you can show that you are a national of another country or a resident of another country, even if you are married in that country, then it may be quicker to get the divorce in that country. But again, the fact that a marriage has not been consummated does not mean it is null and void. It's still a binding marriage, and you have to go through the divorce application process. Thanks as always for tuning into another edition of Land Solutions. Feel free to keep your questions coming. Again, I've been your host, Calicia Finley, and thanks as always to Dervan, Shandale, Adrian, and the entire team at Power 106. Take care.
You contribute directly to Jamaica's national development when you pay your customs duties. Let's all do our part in keeping the wheels of our economy turning. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30. Power Talk on Power 106 FM, finding solutions to the challenges we face in a globalized world. Power Talk, taking talk radio to another level. Join Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays, and Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday, as they provide riveting analysis on the issues of the day and speak with stakeholders charged with driving innovation to move Jamaica forward. Tune in for innovative features designed to showcase local developments and highlight how the global issues of the 21st century are being addressed. That's the powerful pair, Dr. Herbert Gale and Simon Crosskill on Power Talk, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays, right here on Power 106 FM.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go? Jamaica, off the Florida Keys. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all. Bodies in the sand, tropical dreams melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Coconut, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, I will take you down to Coconut. You can take it fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We got to go. Tonique, that Montserrat mistake. We're out to sea. The perfect dark chemistry. By and by we'll defy a little bit of gravity. Afternoon daylight, cocktails in midnight. That dreamy look in your eye, give me a tropical contact high. Way down in Coconut, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, I will take you down to Coconut.
On this World Tourism Day, during Tourism Awareness Week and National Senior Citizens Week, and in America, the month is still being observed as Hispanic Heritage Awareness Month. Wherever in the world you are listening to us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we thank you so much for staying with us. On the heels of today's edition of Land Solutions, we now turn our attention to the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC, hosting their 5th annual research conference from September 29 to 30. That's Wednesday and Thursday this week. We're anxious to hear more as we welcome Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs at UCC, Dr. Yvonne Dawkins. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you on board. Ms. Marie Rob Duncan, Regional Campus Manager for Ocho Rios, is also on the line. Welcome, Mrs. Rob Duncan.
Good afternoon, Dervan. Thank you so much for having me as well.
And it's Marie, right?
Tamarie.
Ouch. I missed that one. Tamarie. Thank you.
Tamarie, yes.
Tamarie. Thank you very much. And Dr. Tom Amond. It looks like a French name, but one suspects it's Amonde.
Yes, it is Amonde.
All right. Bonjour, ça va?
I
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Dr. Tom Amonde, Senior Director, Graduate Studies at the UCC. I'm delighted that this is happening because I think this is the perfect storm, COVID-19, for us to come up with loads of solutions and research and the kind of findings that can inform the decisions we make, not just today, but for the rest of our lives. Are you as excited as we are, Dr. Yvonne Dawkins, along that line?
Dervan, that is exactly the point. The theme of our conference is developing innovation, entrepreneurship, and technology for global competitiveness and resilience.
You know, I started writing it down, but hold on, slow it down there, slow it down. It's a powerful theme. Let's go again. Developing
innovation,
entrepreneurship,
and technology
for
global
competitiveness
and resilience.
My word.
And you can guess that we're focusing on the resilience aspect of that theme.
Of course.
Because that's where we're at in our lives now.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to recover. And this theme is about how we use the resources that we have, the new ideas, how we use our creativity to recover from a challenging time.
And Mrs. Tamari Rob Duncan, how do you should we how much should we read into the fact that you are the regional campus manager for Ocho Rios, and Ocho Rios being a tourist resort, whether there's any likelihood or possibility of research along those lines coming from Ocho Rios?
That is certainly a possibility. And on the second day of the conference, we will be having a panel discussion, which will include Senator Damian Crawford, and he will be speaking specifically on resilience post-COVID-19 in the tourism sector.
Just quite appropriate, because we've been having discussions ever since COVID-19 and its impact on tourism. People have been saying, you see, we're placing too much emphasis on tourism. We need to diversify the economy and get on with it instead of just sitting and waiting. Not that the players in the sector were sitting and waiting, because in more than a year that we've had COVID-19, within the year since the reopening of tourism, we have had more than 1 million visitors already, and more projected to come, plus cruise ships. I think we've had at least 3 already. So it will be a matter of consolidating existing strengths, perhaps, with a view to coming up with ideas of how to keep a sector that can be so tricky, according to what's happening in the world, how to keep it going even in times of whether pandemic or storms, etc. So I suspect though that's going to be a lively discussion. Now, Dr. Amonde, as far as you're aware, how does this kind of exercise, this 5th annual research conference of the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, impact graduate studies at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean?
Right. Thank you, Malcolm. Graduate studies has a lot of research work that we are doing at the moment. Day 2 of the conference is given to graduate studies, and we will start with a discussion where one of our doctoral students, DBA, will be interviewed. His research is on credit union and the millennials. Now, in that session, the University of Sunderland lecturers will also join us in that discussion. Further down on day 2, we'll have lecturers and GBA students who are part of graduate studies are going to present their different areas. So graduate studies is completely going to be involved in this. Graduate, if I may add, graduate studies do so many things to do with research, to do with effects or impact of COVID pandemic on consumer adoption of e-commerce in the banking sector or financial sector in general. And the health sector too, we do research related to that, how COVID has impacted the health sector and more. So that is how graduate studies is going to put itself into this day 2 of the 5th annual conference of the UCC. Thank you.
How about business, Dr. Dawkins? It seems here again is a prime sector for the kind of pivoting and reinvention and reconstitution and renovation and restoration, and we could go on and on. No, I'm really excited. I'm really excited because I think this is what is needed right now, instead of wondering when is COVID going to leave us.
Exactly. We're here. And we now need to be strategizing about making the turn in preparation for the recovery. And the recovery may not look like anything we've seen before.
That's right.
But that's okay because we are harnessing all the things we've learned. We're asking ourselves, what are the changes that we've made that we're going to continue to institutionalize in our practice going forward? There may have been some things that we did because of COVID, working from home, online learning. But is there anything in that we're learning that is beneficial for us that we want to institutionalize? So those are the kinds of questions that we're asking. And the way the conference is structured.
That's where I wanted to go. Happy you've gone there. Go ahead, please.
Is that we have student research, as in graduate research, graduate students, and undergraduate students, because all of our undergraduate students do a research project at the end of their program. And so we have the best of our undergraduate student research. We have student entrepreneurs, and Tamari might be able to tell us a little bit more about that. Student business persons who have a slot in our conference to showcase what they're doing and how they've adjusted in this time. And then we have faculty research. And we also have an interactive panel in which we will have a focus on tourism, a focus on education, and a focus on business. So it's a package that is so diverse that we believe that our audience will find very interesting bits that will keep them engaged throughout the 2 days.
Well, let's find out from Tamari then. I think you just bowled a ball in her direction with respect to, I think, was it the student research?
The student research and the student entrepreneurs.
Yes. Tamari?
Yes, Dervan. So we will be having a student research poster competition on day one of the conference. And essentially what that is, it's a visual display of the research findings for the projects that the final year students would have completed. So we'll have a panel of judges who will review the research, and at the end of it all, the successful students will be rewarded. In addition to that, we will be having a student innovators and entrepreneurship section.
Hold on, let's come back to that one. It's getting better and better with every second of this interaction with the team from the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC. They're not wasting any time at all in the midst of COVID-19. They're getting on with it and preparing for their 5th annual research conference, September 29 and 30. Get with it. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. It's the show that engages you with stimulating and intriguing discussions to spice up your night. It's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas, Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, you may ask me a question. I may or may not answer.
Hear pertinent advice and share your thoughts on topical issues, relationship matters. Get the answers you need for your burning questions. It all comes together on Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas.
You know, look like she did love me to me. But me still, there's she pushed me out, so do my best, anyway.
That's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas, keeping your company Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. till midnight, right here on Power 106 FM.
Fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go.
The University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC, hosting its 5th annual academic conference, September 29 and 30. That's this Wednesday and Thursday, showcasing emerging research in the business fair, titled developing, let's give you that theme again, developing innovation, entrepreneurship, and technology for global competitiveness and resilience. Hitting all the right notes there. Developing innovation, entrepreneurship, and technology for global competitiveness and resilience. And Tamari, I think you were about to touch on innovation, entrepreneurship, and technology when we took the break.
Yes, I was. So we will be having some of our student innovators and entrepreneurs participating on day one of the conference. So they will be showcasing their products and services and providing some advice to other persons who may be contemplating going down that entrepreneurship road. Many of them will discuss the challenges that they have faced during the pandemic and how they have managed to bounce back from those challenges.
That sounds like something to look forward to. Dr. Amonde, what kind of impact has COVID-19 had on the planning and the ultimate execution starting on Wednesday and going into Thursday? How is it looking, especially as far as your graduate studies programs are concerned?
All right. Thanks for the question. I'm going to start like this. When COVID came, we were fully online in most of our courses. And COVID came, and then we changed to all online. So all our MBAs became online programs, and the University of Sunderland DBA became fully online instead of lecturers coming from University of Sunderland to here. So in that case, COVID has affected our delivery of the courses that we offer in English studies. Going forward into this week's conference, COVID has sent us a message that you can present at a conference without being there in person. So our presenters from graduate studies are going to present online. And we have both lecturers who are members of graduate studies, and at the same time they are doing DBA. If I may mention a name, Mr. Fagan is doing something on ICT infrastructure and economic growth in Jamaica. And that is going to go a long way to probably inform Jamaica whether the ICT infrastructure can lead to economic development and growth. And there are many more that our DBA students can present on. For example, business sustainability and the use of corporate social responsibility strategies by SMEs to limit the expansion of criminal activities in Houston district. And more can come out of this as we go into Thursday sessions.
Good.
That, I believe, is where we are.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Amonde. Stay where you are, listeners. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening there to Dr. Tom Amonde, Senior Director, Graduate Studies at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean. We've also heard from Mrs. Tamari Rob Duncan, Regional Campus Manager in Ocho Rios for the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC. And now let's go back to Dr. Yvonne Dawkins, Associate Vice President, Academic Affairs at the UCC. For those listening to us right now, Dr. Dawkins, and they love what they're hearing, they'd like to experience it. What do they need to know? Give us the mechanics of this 5th annual research conference of the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC.
Well, our conference is on Wednesday and Thursday, and you will find all the information on our website. We will be streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom.
So just type UCC on YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom, and we're good to go?
Yes, and if you just type the ucc.edu, then that takes you straight to the UCC website, and you'll see the link to the conference. So I think if you want to come into the Zoom room, there's an opportunity to register, but it's free. You just type in your email address, and you'll be able to make comments, because this is a fully virtual conference. So we have put in place a system to hear from our audience. So you can comment on Zoom, you can comment on Facebook, you can comment on YouTube. Someone is monitoring those comments. If you have questions, you'll be able to ask your questions and have your questions answered as well, because there are points during the program when we will take questions from our audience. So the UCC website will take you there. Wednesday is Student Research and Student Presentation Day. Thursday, we have Faculty Research, and we have our special panelists speaking on education, tourism, and business. And we also have our partner, the University of Sunderland, joining us on Thursday when we talk about research in the academic environment. So something for everyone, Dervan.
Clearly. And Mrs. Tamarie Rob Duncan, this is a massive undertaking, isn't it? Notwithstanding the fact that, as Dr. Amonde said, you were pretty much there before COVID-19. You just got into it a little deeper since COVID-19. But the conference in and of itself, this 5th annual research conference of the UCC, is going to be a test of some of the very presentations and theories and means of pivoting and strategies, etc. So a lot of moving parts. Tamarie, are you ready for this? You and the other members of the team?
We certainly are. Mm-hmm. We had our conference last year during the pandemic, and most of it took place virtually. So we are very much equipped to do the same thing, even better this year.
And the confidence is quite compelling, and we have no doubt you will have a successful conference this year. So now, what happens to this body of knowledge and research and findings, etc.? How do you ensure that it doesn't just end up on a shelf somewhere, Dr. Amonde?
Thank you very much. We have at UCC what we call research committee. The research committee has many subcommittees. I had a subcommittee called Scientific and Publication Research Committee. This committee deals with looking at papers or abstracts that can be considered for publication. The UCC last year launched a journal, and the journal, we are hoping that this year we are going to publish many of our presentations from this conference. I will be doing that with Dr. Veronica Reed and members of that subcommittee to help and guide those researchers who will submit their work to journal. So that's the way we plan to disseminate the outcomes of this research conference this year. But that doesn't mean that we stop there with those research papers. We can also seek to send them outside to other journals so that they can be considered for publication.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Dawkins, here's another indication based on what Dr. Amonde has said, that there is no disconnect between the research and real life, because this is life. It's using whatever talents and skills and knowledge that we have to gain more talents and skills and apply them in our everyday lives. Otherwise, we're just fooling around.
Yes. University research cannot just be an academic process.
That's right.
That's enjoyable in and of itself, but it cannot be just an academic process. It is about creating knowledge that will impact change, knowledge that will lead to new technologies, new products, new ways of doing things. So when we study and we reflect, the next step is, what is that going to do? What is that going to change? What is the impact it is going to make? And so most of the presentations that you'll be hearing, especially the student presentations, very much focused on, we've learned this, what are the implications of what we've learned? What is it that we would recommend in practice?
Yeah, practicality and functionality.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
No doubt. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap, let's just remind our listeners how they can connect and learn in the process while they might be taken up with this 5th annual research conference, that they'll also use the opportunity to learn more about the offerings at UCC.
May I thank our sponsors, Dervan?
Sure, by all means.
Yes, so I really want to thank Guardian Group, Intranet Solutions, Star Apple Logistics, Zomo International Limited, and Carlisa Enterprises. These are our sponsors. And yes, it's Wednesday and Thursday. You don't have to leave your home. You don't have to come on UCC campus. Just go on our website and log on, join our conference. The first day focused on student presentations. The second day includes a very exciting interactive panel. And we're looking at how the issues that we've dealt with in this period, how we've adjusted, how we've shown resilience, and how the things we're learning will change the way we function going forward.
We're definitely looking forward to the outcome of this 5th annual research conference, September 29 and 30. That's this Wednesday and Thursday, all a part of the work of the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, the UCC. Remember the theme, developing innovation, entrepreneurship, and technology for global competitiveness and resilience. We'd like to thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Tom Amonde, Senior Director, Graduate Studies, Mrs. Tamari Rob Duncan, Regional Campus Manager, Ocho Rios, and Dr. Yvonne Dawkins, Associate Vice President, Academic Affairs, all at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, UCC. Well done. We wish you a successful conference. We'll do our best to catch as much of it as we can on Wednesday and Thursday, and we look forward to keeping in touch with the UCC as you continue, can I paraphrase the national pledge, to play your part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. Well done.
Thank you
very much, Dervan.
It's been a pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Afternoon daylight, cocktails midnight, that dreamy look in your eye, give me a tropical contact high. Way down in Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down the Congo? Look at me fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go. Prince, I wanna catch a glimpse.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？4:01 A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now's a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Good afternoon once again to Audrey Smith in Southampton in England. She was telling us earlier on that it's been a real chaotic time in Southampton and elsewhere in Britain. She says, oh my days, the queues for petrol have been really bad. Had to drive so far for petrol. Not only gas, but some supermarkets are very low in stock. We're short of drivers to deliver stocks. Have a good week. All stay safe and take care. Well, would they like some Jamaicans to help to drive that whole process, Audrey Smith, apart from yourself, or maybe you need to gather some Jamaicans? We have a lot of truck drivers in Jamaica, so much so that when they're no longer driving trucks, they forget, and you should see them cornering when driving cars on a normal basis, or what should be a normal basis. But seriously though, there's a great demand for truck drivers in the UK and elsewhere. In Europe and all over the world. There are shortages for various reasons, all underpinned at some point or another by COVID-19. Good afternoon to Sham White. Thank you very much, Sham White, for joining us. Junior Jabari says, good afternoon, Dervan, listeners and viewers near and far. Thank you very much, Junior Jabari. Good to have you on board. Beverline in Toronto, Canada says, listening as always. Beautiful day out there. Out where you are, Beverline? Must be. Faye Weller says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Good afternoon, Faye Weller. Good to have you on board. Hope you're well. Blessed love to you too. Martha Laurent is on. She says, good afternoon, all. Blessings to you too, Martha Laurent. Enough respect each and every time, says Martha Laurent. Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada is greeting us. How is Mrs. Roberts, Calvin? Good to see you. And how about Jean-Claude Rouchon? Salut, Monsieur Rouchon, ça va? Jean-Claude Rouchon, Jean Claude, Jean-Claude, as in Jean-Claude Van Damme. Some people say Van Damme. Jean-Claude Rouchon it is, Rouchon. He says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Greetings from Indian Land, South Carolina. First-time viewer on Facebook, but regular listener of your great program on Saturday morning. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, Jean-Claude Rouchon. Thank you very much, Jean-Claude Rouchon, Rouchon. Violet White, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure to see you online. Thank you. Melinda Grant says, good afternoon to you too, Melinda Grant. Wishing you and fellow viewers a blessed and productive day. Many happy returns, Melinda. Inez Iona Campbell says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Inez Iona Campbell. Valerie Rochester in Atlanta, Georgia. Good to have you on board. Jeannie Chambers, good afternoon. Margaret Osborne Lemmy. Not so good news. What was she saying here? My father died, but I'm paying the taxes. I only have the diagram. How do I go about it? Oops, that's a question for, let's see if we can get that in the box. Send that over to, let's send that to Calicia Findlay and the Land Solutions team. Let's do that in just a moment right here on your program, Both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. Let's see if we can take you to Calicia's box on WhatsApp and paste this message. Yeah, we just did. We just did. And so now, having done that, let's continue. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And let's see. Hello to Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Good to have you on board. Dappa says, hi, Dervan. You know, the government is, where's the rest of the message? The government is bobbing and weaving in and out as to when, why, here's something. I don't know if it's only Jamaicans who do this, but we treat the government as a single individual. And it's usually, the gender is usually masculine. So that's what we're seeing here. So the message says, in relation to the government is bobbing and weaving in and out as to when he should open the economy. And it's generally the usage in Jamaican parlance on the street, in the communities, in rural Jamaica in particular. Yeah, we talk about the government as him. I don't know way Mado. And also, there's another component in that. So the government is seen as one person. Anyway, the message goes on as to when he should open the economy at full blast. However, at this point, I don't think he should wait because COVID-19 is not going anywhere soon. All he needs to do is reopen the economy and enforce the protocols through education, laws, and moral suasion. And so I would imagine, because when they speak of what the government should do, they're speaking of the Prime Minister. But so it is. Thank you very much for your message, Dapper. Claudette Delahaye has been sharing with us multiple recordings and pictures and speeches of CARICOM countries. And thank you very much for your work, Claudette Delahaye. All the very best. Take care. Trying our best to clear as many of your messages as possible right here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Congratulations to Angelia Christian of the Angel Foundation on her successful 10th anniversary community event held yesterday in Tottenham Hale. Well done, Angelia Christian. Karine Luce Fredanki says, good afternoon, Sir D. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We are indeed. Thank you very much. Hope the same for you and yours, Karine. Take care. Norman Hines is in St. Thomas, greeting us. Good afternoon, Norman Hines. Sophia Nemard in Newell, St. Elizabeth. Good to have you on board. Lorraine Brown is in Claremont, St. Anne. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm, and how is the gentleman today? Yesterday was my birthday. Happy belated birthday to you, Lorraine Brown. I'm on 1 week vacation leave. I'm listening in. Well. When I grow up, I want to be like you, Lorraine Brown. 1 week vacation leave because it's your birthday? All right. Jennifer Stewart from Q Road in Kencott, East Central St. Andrew. Good afternoon to you and all the other listeners in East Central St. Andrew. B. Jew in New York says, good afternoon, Dervan. Hope all is well. We're giving thanks for life, B. Jew. Thank you very much. Carol in Calgary, Alberta, Canada says, good afternoon, beautiful people. To you too, Carol. Velta Wilson, also from St. Thomas, says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and other listeners. It's a beautiful day. Let us give thanks for life. Thank you very much, Velta Wilson, for joining us, and all the very best. Take care. Good to have you on board. Both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM as we continue to stream live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-411225, 876-922-411225. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. And who is this now? Mr. Malcolm, please, would you be kind enough to use your office to get some update re-vaccine incentive applied over 45 days? And she has given us her reference number. Not sure you should have done that. You might want to keep your reference number private, but we are not even looking at it right now because we don't even want to know a single digit that is there. What we will say is that we've been assisting a senior citizen in accessing the website wecare.gov.jm, I believe it is, and the latest information on wecare.gov.jm is saying, and this came in on the 21st of September, that in 5 days' time, payment will be made. Payment will be made in 5 days' time. That's the information that we're seeing when we visit the wecare.gov.jm website on behalf of a senior citizen who asked for our help. And we counted those 5 days should take us to Tuesday the 28th. That's tomorrow, because normally in these matters, they do not count the Saturday and Sunday. So if this information was published on the 21st of September, it means that the next day, and the 21st was, when was the 21st? The 21st was last week, Tuesday, I believe. All right, let's come back to that after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Bodies in the sand, tropical drink melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Coconut, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take it to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, Montego, down the Coconut. You can play it fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go. Tonique, that Montserrat mystique. We're out to sea, and we'll perfect our chemistry. By and by we'll be fine, a little bit of gravity. Afternoon delight, cocktails and midnights. That Dreamy look in your eye, give me a tropical contact high. Way down in Cuba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Cuba? Look at this fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We down to Cuba. Prince, I wanna get to Prince. Everybody knows a little place like Kokomo. Now if you wanna go and get away from the law, go down to Kokomo. Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We don't go.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:18. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:18. 现在几点了？4点18分。18 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Let's get on with it as we say hello and welcome to the State Minister in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, the Honorable Robert Nestor Morgan. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Dervan. Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me and taking the time to talk about this important issue.
Indeed, it is important. The launch didn't escape us. 211, which is the child abuse reporting hotline. And it is rather timely because we have both documented and anecdotal evidence of the negative impact on our children of COVID-19 induced conditionalities. And so we're happy that we have this line. Who's going to manage it, and how is it expected to work, Minister?
Well, it is managed by the Children's Registry. As you know, the Children's Registry and the CDA merged. That's the Child Development Agency merged to form CPFSA. So what has happened is that we had some resources that were being used for 888 protection, other lines. And what we're trying to do is really consolidate and make it easier. So we train some more persons who are now, because it is 24 hours, so you would need much more people to man the line so that whenever someone calls, they can get a response as soon as possible. So the resources are there through the Child Protection Family Services Agency, and we have added more people to the team who have experience, who understand the issues, who can confidentially take information.
Have you already decommissioned 888 Protect?
We will not be decommissioning it as yet because it is still a number that a lot of persons would have known for probably the last 10 years.
Yes.
So what we have to do is, as we promote 211 and as more people become familiar with 211 through our public education campaign, and through important interviews like the one I'm giving to you now. Over time, we phase out the other numbers that are used to report child abuse.
Yes. And what's the target? Is it only children you're expecting to call 211, or adults calling on behalf of children as well?
Child abuse is such a serious problem in our society that we need every single Jamaican of good conscience to care about children. If you see anything, if you hear anything, if you suspect something, you can call 211. Part of the reason for the simplification, though, is to allow younger children to have access to it. So with 888 Protect, yes, it's a nice sounding name, but not many young children would understand how to
match the letters with the numbers.
Right. Mm-hmm. So when you have a simple number, as you go on your phone, it's the first two numbers on your phone. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to dial, and it's also easier for adults where they don't even have to think about it. They know it just like they're used to 311, which is Crime Stop, 119, and so on. It's a similar thing given to us by the OEOR.
Is it children serving children, or those not too far removed from childhood or from youth?
Anybody. Okay. Anyone. Mm-hmm. Anyone who sees something or hears something. A lot of the abuse takes place in the proximity of other children. It takes place in a neighbor's house. It takes place in a church or a school, on the playfield. It takes place everywhere. And in many cases, persons who give care to children, the taxi driver, each of the coach, they pick up something, they suspect something. That's how we get a lot of our reports. Some of our reports are anonymous, where somebody lives in the community and whispers to us that, listen, they think something is going on over that house. You need to go and check it out. So we're trying to make every single Jamaican a soldier in the fight against child abuse.
Yes. And what about credit? What do I need to have credit in order to call 211?
No, you don't. It's totally free. Totally free.
Okay.
So we worked very well with Digital and Flow. Flow basically helped us to set up the whole system. Digital came on board also, integrated it with their system from postpaid to prepaid to landline. Whatever number you decide to call from in Jamaica, you will not pay a fee. So then you won't say your name unless you want us to. So that's basically it.
I see. And what about the situation where a child, for example, is hiding to make a call, and but is there any other option other than, is there a number, for example, that you can send a text to, or a WhatsApp, or it's just for dialing purposes, just for calling to say something?
Well, this one is mainly for dialing, but as we evolve and improve the child care ecosystem, we're thinking about using social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, as a means of reporting, and also using WhatsApp, as you just said, which is the most popular social media in Jamaica. So we're starting to evolve the system. We're starting with 211. I do get reports that come directly to me via social media, via email. The offices of the CPFSA across the country also get reports. So do other agents of the ministry and so on. So people have been using many avenues to report, and we improve access to the avenues as well as create more. But we felt that the foundation of the reporting system must be based on a very easy to access, easy to use portal, which is 211. But what you did mention a while ago is a part of the plan as we continue to evolve the system.
And clearly, the public awareness is important. What's the plan? What's the strategy to get the word out, and to get it out in such a way that every child will have the numbers 211 on their lips?
So we launched last week We did a series of interviews. I had an article in the paper on the weekend in the Observer. We're also training a street team to go into the communities to distribute paraphernalia and talk to people about the issue of child abuse. We're going to be having ads on television, on radio, in the newspapers, also time signals and so on. And we're also going to go into the schools as well. We're forming partnerships with some of the entities that serve children. For example, let's say a patty company could probably put the 211 logo on one of their bags, or a drink company. We're forming those sort of partnerships. We're also forming partnerships with youth groups in the community and doing small projects like putting up a sign on a bus stop or something like that. And so it's a whole myriad of initiatives that we're doing, all geared at expanding the knowledge of people about the program and what it is aimed to do.
How bad is child abuse here in Jamaica?
It's an epidemic. We have received over 5,000 reports since the start of the year. You probably would have been watching TV and listening to the radio, and you would have heard about some of the most disturbing acts that take place in our communities. We've had I've had one incident recently where a young child, no more than about 6, had 46 fractures.
What?
You saw the viral post the other day where it is alleged that the stepfather hit the child, messing up half of his face. The police recently arrested 3 staff members of a home in Westmoreland.
Yes.
And one of the accusations was that they used a chair to beat one of the children. And they've been doing it for a while. And Jamaicans, if they would think about it, can bring up incidents of child abuse that has happened to them or happened to children in their proximity. You will sometimes you're in the communities and you hear the screams, and you hear the licks connecting. You'll be in a public area and a child does something bad and he gets a hit across the head by the parent. It's a chronic problem, and I think punitive measures alone is not going to solve the issue. We have to educate our population about the dangers of using violence as a means of instruction. And in many cases, it is not even a means of instruction, it's a means of revenge by the parents for some infraction that the child has done. And that's the challenge that we're having, where it is done in the name of discipline, but the manifestation is really cruelty. Some of it borders on torture. We have incidents where parents are burning their children. We have incidents where mothers are putting out their daughters for favors from men. So we have to find a way to stop it, educating people, but also giving people the ability to report what they're seeing in their communities, so that we can have some respite, some change in the society to protect our children.
Indeed. We look forward to following up with you, Minister. We have to leave it there for now, but thank you. Thank you very much for joining us on this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story, and all the very best to you and your team.
Thank you, Dervan, and thanks to your listeners for listening. It's a very important initiative. If you hear, think, suspect, or know of abuse, please call 211 24 hours a day. It is confidential, it is secure, and it is free.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Robert Nesta Morgan, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, giving us the details on 211 Child Abuse Reporting Hotline.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. It's the show that engages you with stimulating and intriguing discussions to spice up your night. It's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas, Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, you may ask me a question. I may or may not answer.
Hear pertinent advice and share your thoughts on topical issues, relationship matters. Get the answers you need for your burning questions. It all comes together on Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas.
Look like she did love me to me. But me still, they say, she pushed me out, so do my best anyway.
That's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas, keeping your company Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. till midnight, right here on Power 106 FM.
Afternoon delight, cocktails and midnights, that dream.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:28. 现在地点了5:28 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. One of the stories in today's Gleaner, for those who have seen it, whether the physical copy or the e-Gleaner, more money for evening gas. Worldtron boss defense hike at Total Crossroads Station. And the story, well, you get the picture, except that apparently the chairman of Worldtron Group, Mr. Dwight Moore, is saying, wait a minute there, really? What are how did they get that? What are they saying? So guess who's joining us now? Mr. Dwight Moore, chairman of the Worldtron Group. Good afternoon, Mr. Moore. How are you?
Good afternoon, my brother and friend, my long lost brother. I have to apologize that the introduction you gave me is somewhat surprising to me because I have not seen that story.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen the story.
Mm.
And in fact, when I was told about this interview, I said I was not going to be discussing the agenda of a junior, ill-informed reporter. Because I only speak to journalists.
Mm.
So the difference between the reporter and the journalist is when they do proper research and they set out to get the facts right. So since you gave me this introduction, my friend, and we are such good friends, I still haven't seen the story. But what I can tell you is that we are a pioneering business operation, and in doing so, we're innovative in providing solutions for our customers.
Yes.
And in this instance, where someone was misinformed, misguided, and produced a story that I still haven't seen the details of, but the innuendos suggest that there is something unusual about our business. And it's very simple what we do.
That's where I really wanted to go.
I haven't seen the story.
At the start.
I haven't seen the story. But let me help you. Let me help you further. What we do, we operate in the crossroads hero circle belt of consumers and gas stations. And so what we do, within knowing my business, I know that it's a very competitive strip. It has a number of dealerships that provide gasoline. So what we have done over time, over many years, is that we have tried to right-size our business by attacking and attracting customers during a very high competitive period. Now, At another time, we try to match these competitors, and it practically put us into bankruptcy. We're operating with people who have lower quality petrol, lower surface levels, less infrastructure. You're talking about infrastructure like security lighting. And when we operate into curfew hours or after curfew hours, which we're authorized to do, we're then incurring high transportation costs to move our staff who live in places like Gordon Town, Old Harbor Road, various different communities. And so we have to provide transportation for these staffers. We have to also provide incentives. They also work on lockdown days. We open 7 days. So there are a series of costs that we incur in order to provide a service solution. So by virtue of that, during the time that we incur these costs, our prices reflect our costs. So at the end of the day, when God is giving us that good solar light and we don't have to pay for heavy electricity costs during the day, general public transport service is available, in addition to us using COVID measures to provide chartered transportation for our staff. There's no way we're going to be competitive with every little man who's around the corner in a off-the-road, side road operation that doesn't incur the cost that we incur. We also have high-level security. We use 3 different security strategies along with electronic security. How will we be competitive with a guy down the road that doesn't incur those costs? So having not read the story, I'm not sure what the story is suggesting, but I'm giving an insight into some of our business strategies, which a friend of mine said, I've never heard the colonel of KFC tell them what his recipe is. So this young, brash journalist who has called me about my business strategy, I said, listen, if you want to interview me, that's another matter. If you're going to ask me specific questions about my business operations, you're not privy to that. And if you want to go and observe my business, you're quite open to. You're entitled to. You're part of my customer base. So that's my initial response, not seeing the article, but knowing my business and recalling some of the questions that I was asked, and I sought to answer to the best of my current working acumen and ability.
Yes.
Is that a mouthful?
No, when I saw it, I was thinking, but hold on there. How much of a story is this, considering that there is a level of flexibility with respect to pricing, and in any case, if I find prices to be problematic for me, then I know what to do as a consumer.
Worse than that. Customers have called me today, haven't read the story because they're not subscribers, unfortunately. But they are simply telling us, listen, total gas, especially what we sell, is of a higher quality, higher economy. They're getting better value, better service, better time flexibility. Listen to this. We're open till 11 o'clock at night. At 11 o'clock at night, we are catering to the doctors, the soldiers, the policemen, the nurses, who are the essential frontline workers. We are providing a service to them that my staff have no access to get home unless I provide a chartered service to them. I'm burning GPS, which has been increased. Apparently, this person must unfortunate. I think they mean well, but they're obviously misguided. How can I compare with a guy who operates down the road on Beechwood Avenue or some Lyndhurst Road? The property tax is not the same. The staff support is not the same. I have not laid off my staff or no staff from 2020 started, from this whole lockdown business. My staff is fully employed. I'm even employing more people. We are doing a service. And other options are there for those who may not be able to afford the exclusive service we provide. So I really don't understand the genesis, the motivation, or the agenda for what is an attack. If what I'm being told, I've not seen it, but it was very suspicious for someone to contact me. And I said, do you like to interview me? No. Answer these questions. I said, well, hold on. Am I at gunpoint? I must answer and tell you my secret. My secret to success, to serve my customers who rely on me morning, noon, and night. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it seems pretty straightforward. You're operating a business. You know what the costs are associated with operating that business, and in any case, it's a free market where the petroleum prices are concerned. In any event,
let me tell you, my brother, we aim to serve. I can tell you, I'm going to refer you to a story that was done in 2004 by the Washington Post. The Washington Post, there was a Hurricane Ivan in Jamaica. The Washington Post journalists came to Jamaica and were stranded. The then Minister of National Security, Peter Phillips, contacted me to come and open my gas station to serve the police force and other essential services that then did not have their own supply. And the story will tell you that winds were hurling, trees down, light posts down. We were the only business open in Kingston. We are a pioneer. We are here to serve, and we brave whatever circumstances are to ensure that our frontline workers get frontline service. And to be honest with you, we have just launched a service called No Lines for the Frontline. And this was an initiative that was advised to us by the Ministry of National Security to ensure that the hardest working people in this COVID and crime pandemic that Jamaica is experiencing have no waiting. And we are a major provider of services to essential people, the tourism industry, the BPO industry, the entire medical fraternity, right? People who are in the correctional services, the military, the police, the doctors, the nurses. That's what we do. And that comes at a cost. And a cost of a service that we provide independently, not at a subsidized rate, not on a charitable basis, but we have to pay our staff and our suppliers promptly in this economic crunch.
Yes.
It's a win-win that we are providing for people. And we are loved. We are loved. We are lauded every day, commended. Our signs are posted clearly.
Yes. Your position is quite clear.
Very simple. And I'm passionate about what I do.
We hear it.
And I want to explain to the lady. You know what the lady did?
Hold a moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine. Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes on the front line. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Top graduate in English, Shakia Matthews.
Yes, I might be able that.
What's new with you? Pat needs to know if your child is starting primary or secondary school so that you can continue to receive your benefits, including a nutritious lunch for your child.
You don't believe you are graduate.
You just remember to tell the path people about our new school, is it?
Visit or call the Ministry of Labor and Social Security Path Parish Office. We need to know so your child can grow with Path. It's the show that engages you with stimulating and intriguing discussions to spice up your night. It's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas, Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, you may ask me a question. I may or may not answer.
Hear pertinent advice and share your thoughts on topical issues, relationship matters. Get the answers you need for your burning questions. It all comes together on Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas.
Look like she did love me to me. But me still, there's she pushed me out, so do my best anyway.
That's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Dumas, keeping your company Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. till midnight, right here on Power 106 FM.
It's young, it's fresh, it's worldviews from a youth perspective. It's Gen Z, navigating the ups and downs of everyday life. Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Power 106 FM.
Y ahora es en espagnol, son las 5:13. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:13. Tien sai, tidien le ou dien cha shi san fen. 13, well, it's now 12 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? The chairman of the Worldtron Group, Dwight Moore, has been sharing with us his side of the story on both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, further to a publication in today's Gleaner with respect to prices at his pumps at a particular time of day. And your position is quite clear, but I think you were going on to say something else about somebody hanging up the phone. Mr. Moore?
Yes, the lovely journalist. When I start to guide her and give her some more information, because clearly she's curious, clearly she's a potential client, as well as she may be the voice of other clients. But then she ended the call when I told her, I'm instructing you, come and watch our operations. And she refused and told me that she has finished speaking to me and she's not taking instructions or guidelines from me. And she hung up the phone. However, I'm just saying to you, we enjoy what we do. We are passionate about it. And ultimately, we're not going to get rich doing this. Fortunately, we are able to provide sufficiently for ourselves over periods, over decades, as you would know, my friend. But as a man who has 40 years of business experience in Jamaica or more, I've done sufficiently well. We are thankful. We are blessed. And we sought to use, even this week gone, last Wednesday, there was a $2 plus reduction in gasoline. We dropped our prices next morning, even though we haven't bought gas at that reduced price yet. I'm getting my supply tomorrow morning of the $2 price reduction that we got last week, and I pass it on to my clients already. Throughout the whole of last year into this year, where we were having weekly price increases, sometimes 3 months of price increases, we have held back on our price increases because we know who our clients are. Our clients haven't gotten salary increases commensurate to that. The taximen, the bus owners, all people involved in contracts, they don't get price increases in keeping with the gas price movement. For those who may know me, know that my background is in ground transportation. My father did that for more than 60 years. We have a background, we have an empathy but we also must remain viable. And one of our biggest costs, and I want to contribute something special to my staff who has worked tirelessly throughout this pandemic from last March. Nobody has contracted the virus. We are working diligently to get most people vaccinated. But in addition to that, nobody has been sick for a day. From last year, March, we are providing services to the essential workers, the nurses from KPH, the military, the police, the firemen, forgetting about some of the other essential workers who are probably in the legal fraternity, shipping industry, construction, etc. We're talking about those vital to the nerve center of the economy. We had a minister visit us the other day and inspected us on the lockdown, and he said, listen, your lines are long. My staff from the Ministry of National Security must be given priority. That was an initiative from Senator Minister Matthew Samuda. He says, listen, I don't want my staff wait a minute. We need them on the ground. And so we've created this No Line for the Front Line, an initiative that is working. People are coming in and they're getting served, and we have sensitized our customers, our staff. And listen, you see somebody walking a uniform, they are serving us. They are our lifeline. Please allow us to take them to the front of the line, get them in and out quickly, and let them get back to business, and then you're next. We have even increased our cashiers. So we now have 2 cashiers in our convenience store that is based on the ENDS program. So during certain hours, people can just come in and get out quickly. So I think we're proud of my team. My team has done tremendously, and it's unfortunate if any innuendos or misunderstanding have been generated. But I must say that this exercise and this experience has brought out our best, and we've been able to really deliver some first-class service, and I'm happy. Along with the fact that my staff has done a tremendous job, the military, the police, and other essential people are truly appreciating us. I have no regrets to be able to give our service, my brother.
Thank you very much, Dwight Moore. All the very best to you and your team within the Worldtron Group.
I am most ecstatic and appreciate your quick response, and I know your scholarly, sir. We have been associated for a very long time, and we know that standards are what drive us.
Well said. Thank you very much, Dwight Moore.
All the best, and I'm enjoying your bilingual capacity as usual.
Thank you. Take care.
All the best, my brother. Respect.
You too. That's Dwight Moore, the chairman of Worldtron Group, giving us his side of the story here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And look at the time already. Geez, we're almost time to get out of here. Let's clear. We've not been good to our YouTube viewers to the extent that we've hardly read the messages on YouTube. Let's see how many we can get in quickly. Let's see. Leon Robinson says, folks, put your land house in an irrevocable trust. Put an affidavit of the trust on the title. Nobody can move the house. Don't make will, folks. Use a trust, suggests Leon Robinson. He says the court will not break a trust. They will break the will. If you make a trust, you avoid probate. Herman Hyatt says, at Leon, I will keep that information in mind. Leon says, hi, Herman. My mother's house valued 13 million. Her husband passed away. She did not pay 1 cent in taxes. Herman says, okay, sound advice. Leon Robinson says, all the best. Leon Robinson says, Miss Herman, the trust must have 2 witnesses and stamped by a JP or notary public. You get the document safe. No need to lodge anywhere. Natalie Winter says, marriage should be for convince? Marriage should be, or do you mean convenience? If and when I marry, it's for true love. Or you're saying marriage shouldn't be for convenience. All right. All the best to you, Natalie. Hope you find your true love. She says, if assets and liability are problems, what did you want out of this marriage, really? Leon Robbins says, before you married, draw up a trust. No need for a prenup. Natalie says, clear instructions must be given to wife or husband for assets and who to get what, when and where, or to the person left in charge of your assets. Herman Hyatt says, Leon, thanks. Natalie Winter says, Jamaica just going around into a circle. Everybody knows what is what. Fool blame COVID-19. Oh, poor COVID. Natalie Winter again, what the difference? What's the difference between what is there now as it relates to children being abused and what you're coming up with? Child abuse leads to adult abuse and is a vicious cycle that needs to be destroyed from the source. Saying this without apology. Rose McIntosh in London is greeting everybody. Natalie says, I surely didn't benefit from this. Parents must know what they want, what type of nation we're building. And goodbye and good night. Stay safe, says Natalie Winter. Thank you very much, Natalie. Same to you. Good afternoon to Don Marie Smith. Steve in Toronto, Canada says, people should make will. To tell people not to make will is very irresponsible. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 27th of September, 2021. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
I wanna catch a glimpse. Everybody knows a little place like Cocoa. Now if you wanna go and get away from the road, go down the Cocoa. I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down the Cocoa? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down the Cocoa.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines today, Monday, September 27, 2021. Police suggest they might not be able to bring charges against former Agriculture Minister Floyd Green because of recent changes to the Disaster Risk Management Act. State witness in the Wandong Gang trial recounts a successful plot to kill a member of the Klansman gang. Not not approved any policy for power outages to be used to tackle electricity theft. Now the details of the news on Radio Jamaica 94 FM and online at radiojamaica94fm.com. The police are suggesting they might not be able to bring charges against former Agriculture Minister Floyd Green because of recent changes to the Disaster Risk Management Act. The police are investigating his involvement in a birthday party on a no-movement day. However, Deputy Commissioner in charge of crime, Fitzbailey, says the amendment made to the law on August 11 gives unconditional exemption for certain categories